So what you came for is not to hear me ramble. It's to hear from an amazing member of ours. Name of the webinar, Shaping the Future of Procurement 2026 Product Whiteboard. So Chris and Ben, if you can come on screen, they're going to give you a quick high level about themselves, and they're going to share some of their thought leadership today. They are very regular on our webinar platform, so we're excited to welcome you back. And folks, please ask your questions, and Jonah, take it away.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for the introduction, Ali, and thank you as ever for SIG for having us. It's lovely working with you, and thank you very much to everyone for joining us. We're really looking forward to going through this with you today. My name is Ben Harvey. I'm the Senior Product Manager for all things Market Dojo. I'll go on to Market Dojo in a little while, but essentially determining the roadmap for what we're going to work on in the future. I'm joined by Chris Barrett, our Senior Product Owner.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Chris. He takes what I do, translates it into the high-level requirements that the developers need and the nitty-gritty stuff that allows them to then turn our ideas into reality. We both are at Market Dojo, based in the UK, in Gloucestershire, in the UK. And we are a procurement house. We develop a series of different procurement modules available on demand or annualized for companies all around the world. We started 14 years ago, where we were primarily a sourcing house. That's still our meat and drink is today, but we've expanded from there into other things like supplier onboarding, supplier management, contracts, etc., etc. We still pride ourselves on being very on demand, very easy to use. Our pricing is all available online as well, so we're very easy to interact with as someone who's new to digitizing or is further along in your journey. What we're going to go through today is I'm going to talk at the start about how we determine our roadmap, what we look at, what kind of tools you could be using to analyze where you are in terms of your maturity level, and how you could utilize our tools potentially to help you grow or to improve the efficiency of your procurement function. We'll go through the features that we've added in 2025. We're being joined here today by a lot of the SIG regular members, some of you who may know who we are, some of you who won't, but we're also being joined by a series of people who are using our tools day to day, and it'd be nice to show off to them some of the features that we've added over the course of the last 12 months. We'll also go through some of the success stories we've had over 2025 and point out, see if they resonate with you, some of the things we've been able to drive success within businesses. We'll have a brief look over at the end, just what's planned for 2026, a few of the main themes that we're planning on moving on for, before a wrap up at the end where we go through how you can learn more about us. There will be a Q&A section at the end. We will do our best to have time for that. You can submit questions via the Zoom interface. We'll do our best to have time to come back to those at the end. Should we not, and we've got a lot to cover today, I'll reach out to those who've supplied questions and respond to you. I'll also be providing my email at the end, but for what it's worth, it's ben.harvey@marketdojo.com. So if you've got any other questions you want to ask we don't cover today, or any additional information you need, please send them our way. Brilliant. Okay. On to then the key trends. What are analysts saying? What are our customers saying about what they expect to be doing in the procurement space throughout 2026 and beyond? So here we're going to first look at a Gartner report. Gartner, obviously a very well-known name in the industry, and they've been gathering together the trends that are impacting procurement teams. They've been talking to CPOs as well as individual members of procurement teams and looking at what is affecting them at the moment. Now, of those trends, they pulled out 5 kind of major sticking points that bring multiple together, or at least the standout ones as far as they're concerned. And it'll be no surprise to you that with generative AI is the top one. So there'll be lots more AI to come. It's a product webinar in 2026. So of course, there'll be lots more AI to come over the course of the next hour. But clearly it is resonating with the teams. There's a reason why it's a hot topic. And then there's all of the day-to-day function that kind of needs to be brought up to a higher level. So regulatory complexity is ever increasing. We know the changing in requirements of procurement teams and how they need to change how they operate. Very rapid changes as well with tariffs and political instability that brings with it a need to react very quickly. Global division goes alongside with that. We've seen, I think at the top, techno-nationalism. We've seen the divergence of different tools and different suppliers and different regulations around the world. It's important to stay on top of that. The energy transition, trying to move and be more conscious of your ESG or your social environmental governance record, and making sure that your suppliers are meeting that, as well as generational shifts. I think I saw something recently that we're kind of entering the stage where the millennial generation is becoming on the board level of many companies, and that comes with it a new outlook on how you're going to digitize your solutions, as well as how the social aspect, everything kind of moves along with the generations. I know I've got to get a move on. I'll linger on here a little while though. We've the CPOs were surveyed on what their top priorities is. It's really interesting to see how there's such a wide spread here. I think the light blue is the first choices, and you can see there's a real spread in what was responded to of that. And then the sum of the top 5 choices kind of highlights these 5. You can see there's probably another couple that could be selected into that same band. But what you're essentially seeing is mitigating the cost pressures. So reiterating what we said before around the overall trends that they've seen, as well as leveraging AI, leveraging adoption of technologies, ensuring that you are at the cutting edge, running things as efficiently as you can. Improving partnerships with critical suppliers is an interesting one, often gets thought about last, or is a point of nervousness for entry into digitizing your sourcing or any kind of procurement function, is losing that human element along with the AI side. It's really critical to consider this, and we'll go through a lot of tools today that help you collaborate with your suppliers, not just dictate to them. Before finally, improving your efficiency, flexibility, AI obviously feeds into that, but there's a whole bunch of other kind of mandated things that the procurement team could do to drive that forward. So the 3 key issues then around the human AI role. How is that going to look in the future? How are we going to ensure that we are being expert-led in that, whether that's through the AI, whether it's ignoring the AI to bring in the experts? How do we ensure we are targeting the right information? And then how do we manipulate those 2 things effectively so that it is scalable and it is cost disciplined? Here's where people think, here's where Gartner think people are going to be at over various stages, what the timeline looks like for the next 5 years or so. So through 2027, only 20% of procurement organizations will have the data accessible to them to kind of utilize these multi-agent systems. By 2028, 20% of procurement teams will be using AI, continuously evaluating suppliers in real time. 2029, technology and regulation will actually kind of force it upon procurement teams to be moving more at speed. There'll be more to consider. So roughly 40% of organizations will be full visibility. Before then, 5 years down the line, scary to think that 2030 is 5 years down the line, but 5 years down the line, 2030, 20% of procurement professionals will occupy new roles that are driven by AI, informed by AI, as well as AI orchestrating procurement in 30% of organizations. But that's not reflective of where we are now. It's a relatively new technology. We know people are dabbling and looking at what's available. And in terms of today, adoption investment, 94% of procurement teams are now using generative AI weekly for their own personal use or dictated by the team. And 80% of CPOs are rolling out some kind of AI formal plan. But the reality check is the ambition to adapt artificial intelligence within 12 months expected to be between 17% and 25%, but the actual growth in adoption has never exceeded 5%. And we'll go on to a little bit more about how we can perhaps help escalate that and drive that forward. But really, what are the key things that you want to be doing? Where should you be leveraging AI? And we cover that a lot in our Procurement Pathfinder. We've brought together a lot of different reports to look at key trends in the procurement space as per now, January 2026. And this guide will really help you navigate those challenges through the course of 2026 and beyond. So we'll look at the challenge, what you can do to do it, perhaps what we can do to help. But really, it's a really comprehensive guide on the challenges you might be facing and the potential paths forward. You can find that on the Market Dojo website. /Procurement Pathfinder, or as I say, on the Market Dojo website, there's a whole bunch of other resources as well, particularly around maturity, which I'll get onto now. So we model ourselves as being a very scalable solution. So you can come in at the lowest level and build yourself up with us, or you can come in at the very high level and kick off straight away. So where are you on this kind of journey? It would be interesting to know. I think it pretty much mapped up to what we've done these in the past, and the reports kind of matched up to what the analysts are saying. But some companies are still using the email and spreadsheets here. There's not a lot of value in that. Obviously necessary to get the job done, but in terms of maturity, fairly low. we see people come in at these middle 3 stages at the moment, whether they're just looking to move off email and spreadsheets, or they're looking to actually enrich their data or collaborate more closely with suppliers. Before then, in direct procurement particularly, but also under other industries as well, trying to bring in the automation side of things, process, as well as integrating with other solutions. We do have a few of the very highest end of maturity. We're owned by our parent company, Esker, who provide the full S2P suite, and they can help us drive further productivity, total insights of your procurement system. So here's where we're at. We've got the procurement strategy at the low level, secure supplier life cycle management, get the words out, before they move on to sourcing automation, performance management, and enterprise spend management. This is roughly the process we anticipate guiding people through. So you can see here, where are you on this journey? Perhaps just still understanding your requirements, or perhaps you're starting to act upon them. And once you've started the acting, then it's about making iterative improvements. So measuring what you're doing and then improving on it step by step. And we have the tools to provide that. They map out to the various different modules we have. So each of these highs is a module that we provide. So you can see you can bolt on and choose the modular solution, choose where you're at today. Perhaps you start just future-proofing your strategy. Then you look to maximize your buyer value. You can grow from there, or you could just pick up and play with sourcing immediately. And we'll focus on sourcing for a second, because not only across the kind of modular solution do we have various different tools for getting you slowly up to speed or jumping straight in, but within the tools themselves, we have tiered functionality that we can help to bring you on board slowly. So you could go and sign up today from the Market Dojo website. We have free sign up. You can go and check our pricing. You can log in, start playing with the tool before you've even interacted with us. Someone will, of course, reach out to you. But you can go and start at that starter sourcing level, have your whole event ready to go before you then pay and go live. At that very basic level, you're looking at the simple RFQs, the things that are very fairly tame in terms of complexity, all the way up to the very high level. We're talking multi-stage tenders of very advanced lots, which Chris will show off shortly, multi-currency events, the automation side of things. So we can help guide you through this with the solutions, but also alongside our incredible customer success team, who've got their models as well that will help you grow your maturity, map where you are today, and then liaise with you to figure out where you want to be and come up with a plan of attack for how to get you there. Right. I've talked for a very long time. I've left you in the dark there, Chris. So Chris is going to take us through some of the stats that we had from 2025.
So yeah, 2025 was a successful year for us at Market Dojo. We saw a 38% growth over 2025, with over 7,500 events taking place within sourcing, and with our onboarding products, we saw 14,000 suppliers onboarded. In total, there was an average savings of 11% within our sourcing events, and across the world, we were active in just over 90 countries, which is pretty global. And if you compare that to all time, in total, we've sourced $22 billion. We've had over 52,000 events, typically 16% savings across our lifespan on the tool. And one of really like, because they've learned from the best, is that the average first response time on support is 12 seconds. So if any of our customers use our live chat, expect your first reply back within 12 seconds. And I think that's a real highlight of our support team, and that can only be commended. So now I'm going to show you some features which we've released in the last 12 months. Obviously, AI is the talk everywhere at the moment. And as a lot of places have started putting a lot of focus on AI. So one of the first ones we've done is the assistant chat. So you can see from that image in the middle, we've got the little star, and that now brings up the pop-up to the right-hand side where you can start chats. Why have we done this? It's faster user support. So it has an in-app assistant which can instantly answer questions about features, workflows, and best practices. And I think that's the important one, best practices. We get a lot of users on the tool who haven't used us before, and they can get directed in the right way. Improve productivity. You don't have to stop what you're doing to search for answers elsewhere. We've got a fantastic knowledge base which has a lot of information on there, but trying to find that information can be quite hard because there's a lot of information on there. And we have, from next week, the AI assistant is integrated with our knowledge base, so you can now ask questions within the knowledge base. And it will give you a link to the article to assist you. So again, saving a lot of time. Higher adoption and engagement, more confidence in exploring advanced features. AI is there to help and assist with parts of the tool you may not are aware of there, which would be helpful to sourcing events. Real-time help, AI can interpret the screen and suggest next steps, so it can see what page you're on and give you guidance. And the most important one, 24/7 availability. Our support team are brilliant. Our live chat will always be available still. This isn't outdoing our live chat, but unfortunately our support team needs to sleep, so it's always handy to have the 24/7 availability. And then leading into that, we've got event creation. So our AI tool can now create events from scratch. So obviously that's a big time saving. It could save you from hours to minutes to create an event. High quality and more consistent. There's no disrespect to anyone in the procurement world. Not everyone is an expert, but AI can apply the best practice automatically, so suggesting the right lock structures based on what you'd like to do. It makes complex sourcing accessible to a more casual user. Again, not everyone uses our tool daily, so some people do 1 or 2 events a year, and it can take time to get back up to speed on how to use a tool. We also do a lot of new features and add new features as well. So when they come once or twice a year, the system could be completely different to when they last used it, whereas AI will always be up to date with that. Built-in, and it also has built-in governance and compliance. AI can automatically insert questionnaires related to ESG requirements, modern slavery and insurances, and faster go-to-market for procurement teams. Generally in the past, procurement teams have the perception of being slow. AI gets to market faster, which then over time see procurement as an enabler and not a blocker. And that's what everyone wants to see. So here is a demo of creating an event using AI. As you can see, first we now have a button on, that was quite quick, sorry about that, but we have a button on the page which says use AI. So over time, when we're developing new AI features, we are going to be integrating buttons within the tool to say AI is available. Because if we just left it within the chat, no one knows what updates are going on in the chat or what's new, what features can do. So we've now got buttons. So yeah, so I'm asking them if they can create me an event to build a 2-story extension on my house. I don't need a 2-story extension on my house, but I thought it'd be quite good to do one. So the AI is really good in the sense that you need to give it gives you a lot of information at once. And as all AI tools, the more information you give it, the more it will give back. So as if you were to create an event manually, there may be parts of the tool you don't understand, whereas the AI will give you a brief description of all at once. So on here, it's asking for event name, questionnaire title. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say I've asked for a questionnaire only event. And so I've put the information I want, and it's come back to me saying, do I want it to be a pre-qualification and an initial section? I don't want a pre-qualification, and I don't want an initial section. I've also
I guess in this case, Chris, if you'd have given it all this information up front, it would have steamrolled through all these questions. This is very kind of wizard methodical approach where you're giving it information piece by piece, right?
Yeah, it's got the power AI tool to, if you were to upload a document, a PDF document or an Excel into it, it can generate the information it needs from that Excel and advise the user whether it needs questionnaires or does it need lots. I believe you can even ask it to create your event brief for you. It can do it all.
Brilliant.
And we know from our professional services team, they've been given sometimes, here's a PDF, create me an event. We've now got AI that can assist with that as well. So on here, I've gone onto my questionnaire. I'm now using the integration within the questionnaire to create my questions. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's going to create my questions for me as well. So this is very good. I don't know much about contractors or to build my extension. I wouldn't know what questions to ask. I can use the expertise from AI. So we always recommend anytime you use AI is just to double check what it does make sense. It's always important to do that. So yeah, here we go. All the questions are looking good.
On this example, Chris, you've put in a general prompt, but I think you can put in, if you've got a bank of questions from another tool or that you've gathered via email, it can convert those as well, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect.
And then obviously on this demo, I have forgotten to include my lots. So I'm going to create an auction and give it a deadline. And on the next slide, it will show you something quite powerful it can do as well. So yeah, so with my lots, I am. So I have you can't see the document, but I've uploaded it from a document. So I have been given a plan of what the extension would be. And so rather than me having to go into the event and work out the lots, I'm using AI to do this. So I've uploaded the document within the AI chat and asked it to create my lots based on that. So in this scenario, I've been quite vague of what I exactly want from that lot to see what it comes up with. It would have been helpful if I shared what the document uploaded was. It's just a PDF document just saying these are materials you need to build your house. So
Sure. And I know in the past I've fed it receipts, I've fed it previous events. It can digest pretty much anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously with my upload, I didn't give it any current prices. So this is why it's now asking me for current prices, quantities, if I know the quantities, etc. And qualification price, obviously. But again, if it knew those current prices from the document, it would automatically put them in.
Sure. I think you can also ask it. I think in this example, was it paused? Yeah, it's paused. I don't know why it paused. Let me skip ahead a little bit. I'm very conscious of time. You can also ask it to go out and do that research itself, right? It can advise what the current price is, what the qualification prices might be for any particular lot.
Yeah, yeah. And again, just I would double check what it says. You don't want the qualification to be too low and no one can bid in your event.
Of course. Yeah, I think that's where we're getting to on the AI side of things is vetting of the final output. We know that, as mentioned earlier, procurement teams are enforcing the kind of AI structures, and the reason for that is they can provide it with more context, which is something I know we'll be adding shortly to this. Right, is the ability to add contexts from the host side.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. So I've just in my demo just created the lots. There you go. Lot updated. The page then should refresh. Said that a bit too early. There we go. So it's created all my simple lots for me based on the information I have. So yeah, that's how AI can be done. This is building all the time. We're getting feedback from our users. We're adding more into it. This is a ongoing thing to carry on using it.
And I guess for those who are maybe fairly new to us, we've got two different structures of lot creation. I know you're going to show off advanced lots shortly. Simple lots is for more basic requirement. You just need a price. You don't need any additional information. And then we've got the advanced tool for gathering more intel from the suppliers, right?
Correct, yeah.
Perfect.
And then I'm now going to go on to the advanced lots, how you can now create your advanced lots using AI. So it removes the complexity barrier. AI can translate a brief such as delivery services price per zone with different rates for next day in economy into a fully structured price matrix. And I think I mentioned it in that one, you can put a range of different bits of information. As Ben said, he used a receipt to create his lots. You can use a spreadsheet which looks very much like lots or a document, and it will work it all out for you. And obviously, huge time saving on setup. There'll be more on that in a minute. Smarter pricing models, and AI can recommend how pricing should be structured, not just copy and paste what the user suggested. So if it doesn't like what you think it thinks you can do better than what you suggested, it will give you that suggestion. And more sophisticated sourcing without extra skill. So raises sourcing maturity across the whole organization. So with the example here, so I've got two events being created at the same time. The top one, I'm using AI to create my lots. The one at the bottom, I'm going to create manually based on the same spreadsheet. That's important to note. So the goal of here is to create both. They both have their advantages. I am never at any point saying you shouldn't manually create your advanced lots. I think it's very important to create manually at the start so you understand what the tool does, the expectations from advanced lots, and just understanding. So I wouldn't necessarily always jump in straight away with AI to create your lots because you need to be careful and double check what it's doing. But obviously on the top section here, I'm already uploading the lots I'd like. And on the bottom row, I'm currently on line 2. Line 2 out of 20. Whereas doing it manually, I'm on line 2 out of 20. The top one, I've uploaded it it currently looks like it's not doing a lot in the AI, but it's thinking about everything that's going on. I've even
I guess
been quite polite to AI about asking it to do it for me.
I guess we've got a middle range as well here, right? We've got upload functionality built into the tool. I guess what the AI, that would kind of be a halfway house between these things. I guess the AI is, I'm thinking of an analogy and I'm not coming up with one, is like having your own customizable template whenever you want it, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Definitely. And then, yeah, obviously the AI is now thinking about the lots. It's now working on those lots. And then on the bottom one, I'm still adding my line items. And we're
Sure.
a minute and a half into the event creation. Yeah, still working on it.
And there we go.
There we go. So it's created the lots. And I'm even wasting time here by thanking AI. I don't know why I needed to thank her. I needed to thank AI, but I did. There's no harm in being polite. And then you go at the top, my advanced lots have been created. It's worked out what I wanted from the spreadsheet, and I did it at about 1 minute 50, and I wasted 10 seconds in that being polite a couple of times. So while that was 1 minute 50, I'm still creating my line items on the bottom. So it's sped through process of me adding everything from the spreadsheet.
And this is the power, right? This is why we're focusing AI where we are. We know that some of these steps are quite manual, especially when you're getting used to them. I mean, the time saving you're delivering here is remarkable. So, yeah, the same for the whole event creation. I guess here is, and we've seen real world examples of this, Chris, right? Of people jumping in and creating them from scratch from AI.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. We will get onto some more details of those examples in a little minute. I'm going to give Chris a voice arrest, even though I kept interrupting him. Apologies. Too excited. And instead move on to messaging functionality. So I'm aware I started this demo a little quickly, so I'm going to give some insight before I jump into it. So our messaging functionality has been there since our sourcing solution was founded. It's become a little dated over the course of the last 13 years and was in need of an uplift. And we know that we're not alone in that. A lot of legacy solutions and a lot of the big bang solutions have pretty hard to understand user interfaces, quite unapproachable. And we've done our best over the course of this project to make it a lot more approachable. So it might not be necessarily the flashiest thing in the world, but I think there's a benefit to be had in how kind of recognizable it is. So here I'm in an event with no messages, and I'm going to come in and send a new message out to my suppliers. I could choose all my suppliers. I could choose a subset. They're grouped by company below, so I can make sure they're going out to the right people. And what it will do now, and for those who've seen Market Dojo before, that would have generated a single message saying who's it gone out to. But now we've got more of an instant messenger style structure. It comes down, it creates a new entry for each of the suppliers that I've asked a question of. We're now later in the event. You can see I've got one unread message. It shows me there in the messages tab. And you can see on the left-hand side, it's coming from Acme. So I've got a host of different functionality available to me here. I can favorite them to come back to you later with filtering available. I can mark things as read, unread, make sure that I'm staying on top of things. I can view all the system messages that have gone out. You see the unread messages bumped up when I did that. The system messages had come in the interim. And I can reply now from here, right? So instead of going out and generating a brand new one to a host of different suppliers, if I've got something pertinent, I need to go back to this specific supplier on, I can do so from here. And from the supplier side, they don't need all that complexity. They just want to see the question, answer the question, ask their own questions. So you can see there's their overview of the event. But when they jump into the messages tab, they've just got a single feed where they can respond to any questions that have come in. Importantly, and doesn't get talked about enough in terms of sourcing solution, we've also got the host-to-host messaging built into this as well. So a host having the ability to respond to other hosts. You can see I've got an unread message there. And then if I pull over to the host side, you can see that James has come back to me on a question. I can go out to him and say thank you. From the compose message button, I can send out and customize my emails that get sent out and everything like that. But here I can just say thank you to James, move on with my life. But it's all audited, right? It's all available in here. It means that if someone goes off on sick or is suddenly unavailable, it means you've still got the data within the sort of centralized solution. We talk a lot about how centralization is super important. but sometimes those little conversations and things do get lost, and there is really key information in there. So in terms of the benefits, those who've seen our old system will know this loud and clear, but perhaps just kind of a philosophy on how we develop things in general. Adoption. We know that adoption is the key kind of barrier for a lot of procurement teams, a lot of teams in general. Whenever you're looking at getting a new tool implemented, it's the adoption of the general user base that tends to be the problem. And procurement teams then get stuck between, okay, I'm gonna force you to use this and becoming the bad guy, as it were, or I'm gonna let you do your own thing. Here's a tool if you'd like to use it, and then you're missing out on savings, you're missing out on efficiency, you're missing out on all sorts. This goes for sourcing solutions, onboarding solutions, any kind of solution that you try to implement within procurement or outside. And so it's nice to know that when you go into a tool such as ours, with its friendly, and we are a friendly first UI on-demand solution, requires us to be very easy to understand. And this is another area we've focused on that in recent times. So a recognizable solution hopefully makes it much simpler for users to come in and interact. They don't get distracted, go off to email, go off and do other things. Keeps your auditability all in one place. As I mentioned, we're already it's already one of our focuses is to get people off the email and spreadsheets and to get everything into a single location. This is just another branch of that. It means the teams can rest assured everything's where you left it. If the auditors do come knocking, you know exactly where to send them. And all of the filtering options available just give you a lot more flexibility about finding things very quickly. Collaboration was a point of focus on the trends from Gartner, and it's something that Chris is going to touch on in very large detail in a second. But the messaging tab also delivers that. It allows multiple hosts to collaborate with the people on the supplier side, as well as multiple suppliers interacting as well from within the same company, that is, in a secure manner, as well as the auditability. It's all done securely, all through our system, individual emails sent out to individuals, none of the dangers of CCing instead of BCCing or what have you. And then efficiency, all of those things, the adoption, the auditability, the collaboration, all of those things breed efficiency as part and parcel of what they are. However, you've also got the bulk functionality within there, the mass sending of messages, the clearing out of things, all of that bulk functionality that's within there obviously adds to your efficiency as well. We know that's the key focus, is using tools that can really make a difference on the efficiency. AI is one area, but sometimes the basics like really simple UI, easy to understand, approachable for new users, does the job as well. I touched on collaboration. Chris is going to jump back in and talk about one of the key collaboration features we've added over the course of the last 12 months now.
Thank you. I think we're going straight into the demo. So we're going to demo what it does first. So I've gone in as a user. It's my first day at a company, and I've just been invited to this big event, and I'm quite daunted about what I've just seen because I have no idea on the finance about the company. We see there's quite a lot, but there's a lot of information provided in one sourcing event sent to one person who's not the point of contact for every single part of the company. So we now have a collaborators button at the top right-hand side where they can then add a collaborator. So I know my finance manager is Dan Green. So I'm then going to invite Dan Green to help me complete the finance questionnaire. And I can also leave a message asking him for assistance. And that when he receives an email, he can get a message to see why I've invited him to the event. You could also, it also comes up with a small warning message for other than I've invited someone outside of my organisation. You can still invite them. It's just there as a warning just to advise you that you invited someone from a different domain. This event's also got an RFQ on it. As a new person in my company, I don't feel like I'm the right person to bid. So you can switch the lead because currently only the lead can bid on an event. So I'm going to switch the lead to my manager. They've since received an email to approve, and then they can do the RFQ. That's a quick overview of how it works. Now I think it's important to explain why it's important. We've done the supplier collaboration. So a higher quality with more complete responses. When suppliers can collaborate with colleagues, again, finance, tech, legal, etc., the answers provided are more accurate, more detailed, and answered directly by subject matter experts. Why is this good for our hosts? Better quality answers, fewer incorrect answers, and stronger basis for analysis and award decisions, which is what everyone wants. There's also fewer clarifications and delays. So if one supplier is responsible for completing everything, questions could pile up from them and mistakes may happen from the supplier. And therefore, obviously, the deadlines getting tight with collaborators, users are sharing the load. With collaboration, sorry, users are sharing the load. Why is this good for our hosts? Reduction in back and forth messages. Even though we've got a fantastic messages tab now, we still ideally don't want that. And faster event completion. And then also, this is less pressure on one person. So not even if they're new to a company, we see it here, even at Market Dojo, when we get events, invited to events, there's a lot of information there, which I don't think one person would be able to answer without going to another person to write a question to get the answer. So why not just invite them to the event? So a large social event can be quite daunting for one person, I said, but with collaboration, they can share the workload, no single point of blame, and delegate to the internal experts to contribute directly. And this can lead to lower stress and faster completion. No one likes stress. And there's more competitive submissions. So with the right people answering the right questions, this means a more polished and competitive submission. This therefore increases chance of scoring well, fewer errors in response from our suppliers, and more confidence in what they have submitted. Because I know full well, if I had to complete finance for Market Dojo, I have no confidence in submitting it.
I'm glad you pass it on rather than just give it a go yourself. I wanted to touch. You showed off that you were acting as a supplier there. Obviously, the same functionality available for hosts, right?
Yeah. So from a host view, you can add collaborators for suppliers' behalf. So you can have the exact same functionality there as what the suppliers have from the host side. We were very keen to get the suppliers to be able to manage this themselves because they know who they need to contact. So we're trying to stop those back and forth messages. But anything my supplier just done, then you can do from the host side as well.
Okay, brilliant. Glad to hear it. Chris, back to you again. Sorry, I've started talking. I think it was me.
So with all these big projects going on and all these big tickets, we always work on customer love. What is customer love? Fantastic question. It refers to our commitment to providing exceptional support, building strong relationships, and prioritizing the satisfaction of our users. It involves not only meeting our users' needs, but also anticipating them, ensuring that our users have a smooth, efficient experience using the platform. What do we do to achieve this? With each release, we aim to include at least one small-scale enhancement to an existing feature which have been raised directly from our users, whether that's via support, success team, sales team, or our customer advisory board. This meant that last year we did 26 additional enhancements across all our modules. One example of that is you can now delete a contract. Whereas before we didn't have the ability to archive, which when we implemented our contracts tool, we thought that was right. From people using the tool, they wanted more demand to. Sorry, just had to cough. So yeah, we can now delete a contract. How do I hear about these changes? So something we started to do last year was I send out a product newsletter every quarter where I highlight the customer love tickets we have done in that quarter. So if you don't receive these emails and you would like to receive them, or you can either email info@marketdojo.com. Ben's politely giving his email address out as well. You can email him to be added, and also you can invite me at chris.barrett@marketdojo.com. This is a good way to keep up to date of those smaller tickets that come through.
I'm gonna linger on this a little bit before I pass back to you. Before I steal it back. So this is something we're really proud of. Alongside our success, our support team, Chris and I, and as credits to the developers as well, have kept our development cycle really agile, able to adapt. We are constantly looking at different ways we can ensure that customer prioritized enhancements make their way through into the development team. And so we're very grateful for all the feedback we get from our ongoing customers, from prospects, from whoever's got kind of expertise in that area. And really proud to get these things rolled out. And it's nice to be able to reflect, or Chris to be able to reflect each quarter on everything we've delivered. So yeah, that's fantastic. It is me now. Kept trying to jump in, and it's finally my time. So some of the success stories we've looked at over the course of 2025. So some of the different companies operating differently within Market Dojo, each with their own way of approaching predominantly sourcing here, although there's joint sourcing. There's also onboarding customers, contracts customers, the whole suite customers built within this. I'm going to start in the bottom right. Why not? Just keep it fresh. C-suite procurement, individual operating for a global environment management company. They have implemented automation, something we didn't talk about, or we're going to talk about briefly in a moment, around the selection of suppliers. Something we implemented in 2024 was the automated ability of generating your events. So on the back of categorization of your event, it will automatically generate the event for you. So this is not AI, this is a bank of different elements, different templates. So they've got it set up such that they will say that I'm sourcing in this area, and it will automatically go, okay, well, in that case, you need this questionnaire, you need this lot structure, and you're going to choose from these suppliers, and their supplier set is very predetermined. And as a consequence of that, they've reduced the time spent in the tool, or in general on sourcing activity, by 50%. They found a 57% cost saving in the first 6 months of that activity, of a 3 million euro spend, as well as the kind of usual benefits we see around the visibility, more resilient supply chain. And obviously the standout, as far as you're concerned, hopefully, is the 24 times ROI within months that we deliver for them. I'm only going to pick out one more because I've not got a massive amount of time. But if I focus on the bottom left with a Greco, so 70% reduction in average onboarding time. They're using our supplier onboarding solution. They've been a champion of that. We're delighted to have them with us, but they're also using our other tools as well. And they've reached out to 11,500 suppliers. They are a very global company operating events around the world, and that's been completed in 152 countries. It's now been rolled out to 23 languages of different suppliers that are using our onboarding tool, each with their own version of the questionnaire that goes out to them. And it's just hugely helped with the compliance and visibility for them. And we continue to work with companies like Greco to enhance the solution and look at what more value could we add to it. There's a couple of others on there as well. I know the slide deck's hopefully being sent out. So, but if you want to ask any specifics on those, please feel free to reach out to me. Chris, you're going to take us through the first bit of 2026.
I am indeed. Back to AI. So, items of AI we are looking to carry on doing this year: questionnaire answer summaries, so just give quick reviews of supplier submissions, creation of scoring criteria. This links very much to the middle one. So we want AI to be able to create its own scoring criteria based on the answers which are provided, and then auto scoring of free text responses. So the AI will then be able to score the answer based on this criteria it's given, which I think it'd be very interesting to see what that score would tally up against human score, which I think be interesting to see. Expansion of uploads. So again, I'll show you one upload. A couple of uploads we've done earlier. We want to add some more alongside. Can't get words out. Basically, giving users more chance to add information in a single file. I feel like that's just going to save a lot of time. That's what we need to do. And then we want to do a lot of focus on post-event analysis. So recommendations on the supplier to be awarded business, and anomaly detection, follow-up suggestions, and success of event format. AI currently is a lot of focus on event creation, rightfully so. We don't want to neglect the post-event analysis because that is as important as the creation. So that's what we're looking at with the AI.
Very exciting.
And then we're also looking at what we call a dynamic supplier search. So currently on a sourcing event, you can invite a supplier manually with an email address. You can do upload spreadsheet. We can do supplier discovery. And then now we're looking to invite from SRM, which has been asked for by quite a lot of our customers. SRM is our supplier relationship management module, where all your supply, it's like a really good supplier database where it can be filtered by custom fields. So we want to use those custom fields to be able to invite into sourcing. Why? Faster event launch, invite approved suppliers from SRM in seconds. Currently, if you want to do this, you have to copy and paste email addresses across. It seems a bit silly considering we're within Market Dojo, so you'd be able to do it a lot quicker. Built-in compliance, so only vetted and approved suppliers make it onto your sourcing events. Smarter supplier selection, so you can use real supplier data from your SRM to choose the right suppliers every time. And a cleaner data and better reporting. So one connected supplier means cleaner reporting and stronger decision making. we're very much started work on this at the moment. We're hoping to complete it in Q1 of this year, but there's an early mock design on the right hand side of how it's going to look. So we ideally want the users to go in, select the custom fields they want, click search, and that will then search for all the suppliers within the SRM, bring it below, as you can see there, and then you can just tick box of who you want to invite and invite them to your event. So we're really confident this is going to be a successful bit of work and an extra way to be able to invite the right suppliers to the right events.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Chris. I'll linger here a second just to say that this is done alongside our parent company, ESCO, who have their own their bank of suppliers within their system. So we'll be looking to draw from them as well, from the full kind of S2P suite, where they're using it on the further down the line, where they're gathering suppliers through their onboarding solution. We can drag them into here and then search on them as well. We've already got the automation I mentioned earlier, so this will be more like I spoke to someone once. I think I remember them. Are they in there? Or I want to search in Utah. No, wait, I want to go search in. This is my test of, do I know US states that are near each other? The answer is no. I think Nevada, maybe. Search for Nevada, and then I can keep changing, chopping and changing and adding the right people into my event. So that's very exciting. Chris mentioned earlier, we're talking about building events. We're also focusing on post-event analysis as well. So upfront, we're looking at, okay, what can AI do, as well as what can we do to sync our tools better and get you more mandated steps within the process. And then afterwards, we need more powerful reporting. So we're looking at, we brought in a reporting dojo tool a couple of years ago that's had incredible uptake. Embedded within the solution are these reports that you can focus on, that all your teams have access to. And they get customers are getting a lot out of their data, but we know there's more we can always look to add. So we're looking at a new version of our API that is perhaps more robust, more scalable, capable of giving you better insights, because we'll seek to add more data to it. So there's a few endpoints we know are a little challenging just due to the sheer volume of data and allowing you to process that in a sensible manner. But we're looking at this year, okay, what can we do to give people more access to that at their fingertips? And we know this is something you're focused on as well. It came through on the Gartner reports, and we hear it from customers all the time. In terms of the other major projects, so Chris and I have been through 3 of them. There are a series of other things we're focused on as well. So in terms of the automation, at the very high level of maturity, we currently have a solution whereby you can go from your supplier onboarding module and automatically send updates manually, rather, to your ERP system. First quarter of this year, we're looking at, okay, how can we make that process manual? What can we do around when the supplier status changes in your onboarding solution, where you're doing all that vetting to make sure that the supplier held within your ERP is being processed correctly? Have they said something in a questionnaire that should trigger them to be red listed from your supplier set? Those kind of things, making sure there's a single source of truth. We're looking at multiple ways we could get more powerful insights from within the team, within the procurement team, within the legal department, IT, when it comes to vetting your suppliers. So within a sourcing event, we're looking at, okay, what can we do around the weighting of questionnaires, having multiple questionnaires weighted against each other, being able to dynamically change the weighting at the end of an event to say, okay, I've always got an ESG questionnaire on my event. It's important to us. It's regulated. I then need to ask a whole bunch of questions that are specific to the category. I then want to add an RFQ. So how can I weight the ESG on every event at 15% of the overall score, my next questionnaire at 35, and the final price at 50, and just get out that final rank for the supplier? So we can already do that one questionnaire, and we can do it with the RFQs today. We're looking at, okay, what can we do to have multiple questionnaires, as well as display that data nicely at the end of the event? That will come alongside a questionnaire to be responded to internally. So per supplier, kind of a scorecarding exercise. You can go out to your internal teams, your IT, your finance teams, to say, okay, I need you to vet this supplier. What are their answers? So it could be as an example, what's the ID from the risk system? What kind of risk did it give us? And scoring those. So not only are you asking the supplier directly, you're getting internal insights. We're looking at a whole new front end. The last two are focusing on UI. We intend to stay an on-demand solution and making sure that we are easy to pick up and understand as quickly as possible. We're not letting AI do all that work for us. And we have new designs for our questionnaire front end that are going to do that. So a quicker entry of data, quicker analysis of responses. So we're looking at across the board, whether that's for sourcing or the onboarding module where our questionnaire engine lives. We're looking at improving that for day-to-day users, as well as those new to the tool. And we're looking across the board. We have a dedicated UI team now with people who've been here a few years who are really embedded and have started this journey to kind of look at the whole solution. They've started with the messaging tab. I think it looks fantastic. They're looking at what are the other key areas we could seek to improve across the end-to-end flow. A brief mention then for where all these requirements coming from. I have a customer advisory board that myself, our designer Sam, goes out to on a quarterly basis where we ask for ideas. We go through anything that we are currently developing. We ask for their feedback on the specifications, on the roadmap. We get them to do roadmap budgeting exercises. Sam will show them on designs that are in progress and get their real-time feedback. Before then, they'll be added to beta programs at the end of that cycle and be able to interact with us. So if that's something you're interested in doing, please reach out to me. My email address will be on the very end. And it's lovely to have we have a very wide range of different users who are in that, from very small procurement teams in one industry to very large worldwide procurement teams across a totally different industry. So it's been really insightful for me and really insightful for the roadmap. In terms of you, where do you go from here? So I mentioned earlier in the presentation, a great way of assessing where you are today and what your challenges are going to be in the future and how can you overcome them is through that Procurement Pathfinder. Our marketing team have done an incredible job of pulling together all of this data from various different analysts and giving you the tools in your hand required to go off and make a plan for 2026 and beyond. On the website, that's there alongside all of our resources, including information on the customer success packages I mentioned earlier, as well as measurements of where your maturity is today. And if you're interested in Market Dojo, if you're a established Market Dojo user who perhaps heard mention of another module here, or if you're brand new to us, please reach out, have a conversation, have a demo if you wish. You can reach out to us at marketdojo.com/demo. And as I say, if you go to the Market Dojo website, you can sign up for free now, jump in, have a play with the different solutions, see what fits you best. Okay, I think we're there at question time. There have been a few that come in. I think if by the time I respond to these, we'll probably be at the end of time. But if I flick through, there's one that came through in the public chat around 16% of savings is high in this economy. So the 16% is all time. You can see that's been our savings throughout the 14 years of Market Dojo sourcing being available. 11% in this last year. So it's not only those who've been sourcing through sourcing tools time and time again. Remember, we have customers who come to us who've never done this kind of exercise before. They're digitizing for the first time. They're maybe moving away from their incumbent for the first time. So there's a whole bunch of different things that drive that up. You're right. In recent times, it's very difficult in the inflationary situation we're in to continue with those. But that's where the kind of levels of maturity come in and ensuring you've got visibility of what's coming up before you then grow and make a plan for the year to come. I think there's two more in the Q&A section. In terms of tools' ability to compile live research, KPI types of questions, what are the sources of information? So AI has general access to the web, and it can pull that information from there. We don't give it access to the tool yet. It can't look at your live data. That's something we're looking at in the year to come. At the moment, we've taken kind of the approach that we're looking to remove the barrier of entry, the large click time, the heavy time steps of the process. We'll be looking in the future, what can we do around big data? What can we do to get more information out of the tool? Work with customers on a one-to-one basis on, okay, what does your data tell you about how you could be operating better in the future? But what it will do, as Chris mentioned before, is give you insight on your tool looks kind of like this. Maybe you would be better off including you've only got 2 suppliers on the event. Would you be better off running a Japanese auction? So that kind of advice we are looking at in the near future. And then finally, when suppliers are enabled to platforms, are they required to sign off a similar set of platform terms? So suppliers can sign up for free on the website. They can go do so today. We have a list of terms on the. They sign up and accept the terms and conditions. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of those now, but they can freely go and find them themselves. There's no payment. There's no additional expectation on the suppliers themselves. We're trying to remove every barrier to entry, right? The more we can do to increase adoption, whether that's from your internal team members or whether that is from the suppliers themselves. That's where your big benefit's going to come from. Oh, David's very, very quick jumped in and shared some information around the 11%. Thank you, David. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Chris, for joining me. I will leave this on. Is my email on that? Yes, it is. I'll leave that on the slide. Thank you to Sig. Thank you, Ali, for introducing us. I guess I'll pass back over to you now. If anyone's got any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I've done so well up to that point.
Thank you so much, Ben and Chris and David, virtually, for chiming in and assisting. So these are regular webinar sponsors for us. So folks on the call, please keep an eye out. They do a webinar with us every few months. So we'd love to see you on the next webinar. You will receive some follow-up information, so keep an eye on your inbox tomorrow. But we just appreciate you guys, everyone carving out an hour of your day. And we say an hour is like a day because I feel like our days are just so busy. And so we really do appreciate you being here. And Ben and Chris, is there any closing remarks you would like to share?
Closing remarks. Wow. Okay. We're very excited. I mean, I think the things we've added over the course of the past 12 months, we are looking to really enhance what we have today. We are looking at I think it's really important, like procurement teams are looking to get the most out of their tools. We're looking at our own tools. What can AI as well as just streamlined UX UI do for those tools without having to do massive enhancements? What can we do over with the new technology that's available to us? So I'm really excited. I'm excited to have these kind of conversations and to talk to people. And I'm more than happy to carry that on if anyone can bear to listen to me anymore.
Well, I appreciate it. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day. And we will see you on the next SIG webinar. Thank you so much.